What's going on, everybody? This is John with ACTION-FLIX.com on the Action-FLIX podcast. And today I have a special guest, an exclusive interview with one of my personal all-time favorite action stars. Back in the day when they needed a bad guy, this is the man that they called, and he's taken on the best of the best because he is the best of the best. So without any further ado, I'm going to bring him on for all of you to see, Mr. Matthias Hues. Matthias, how are you doing today?
How are you? Good to see you, John. Good to see
my-
you. Thanks for having me at ACTION-FLIX. I like the name.
Thank you. A funny story. Yeah, I was like, when I was creating my website, I was like, I love the name ACTION-FLIX, but somebody had taken it somewhere, so I had to put the hyphen in it.
Oh.
So it's action hyphen.
Oh, yeah. This happens all the time. This happens all the time. You have a great idea, and then they make you put the hyphen in there. It's unbelievable.
It's okay. It is what it is. I like it, actually. It makes it stand out a little bit.
I think it's better. Yeah, it's
Thank
good.
you. Well,
Yeah.
Listen, we're not talking about me. We're talking about you, sir. So we were talking a little bit before we started recording, and I was like, no, stop talking, because I want to save this for the interview, because like we just started talking, which was super cool. But like I said, I don't want to make either one of us sound aged, but like I've been
right.
No Retreat, No Surrender to Raging Thunder. I mean, I love the story behind it. I love how, like you basically, I love the story about how you just basically swooped it because, Van Damme, took a hike, and they were just like, we need somebody. And
Yeah.
Here he comes. But I'll get to that later, because I want to talk about all the movies I loved you in and all the guys that you took on film and everything. But first of all, let us go down memory lane, and because I'm a martial artist too, so I always like to talk to you guys, about doing the martial arts and how you personally got started. And was it something that you always like gravitated to, like you watched like Bruce Lee? Because every time I ask somebody, it's like Bruce Lee. Like Bruce Lee is always the name that comes up. It's like, so was it the same for you, or was it something different that got you started in your course on the martial arts?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's a valid question, because I ended up doing a lot of martial art movies,
Yes.
I have to say, in Germany, martial arts is a big thing. Then again, when I think about it, all around the world is a big thing. So there's dojos everywhere in Germany. And for us, the first thing they make us do in Germany is we go to judo.
Okay.
That's like number one. So you learn how to fall and take someone down, which is really cool. So so this is how I started. And then you have competitions. So I did all these competitions, and that was fun. And then but I got sidetracked from there to track and field, because it's in the same building. And there was this guy, Bruce Jenner, that we all know,
Right.
Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah. So but he was kind of like not my generation, but the generation before me, and he was world champion in decathlon. So he was kind of like the ideal man at that time. He had muscles, the long hair. I really liked him, and so I started training track and field. And then but I did see there was a taekwondo class next door to our track, and I went to do this at the same time, track and field, taekwondo, track and field, taekwondo. And then but track and field won. So I stayed with that. But I had the groundwork done for knowing how to fall, take people down, and to throw some kicks. Which later came in handy, because the films I've been doing was more like athletic skills mixed with fighting. And then throughout the years, especially in LA, when you do an action film, you get to train with the best people, like Benny Arquitas, for instance. Yeah, we did Kickboxer together, Kickboxer 2, and then Jimmy Nickerson. He did Rocky 1. He did Raging Bull.
I found
with
this
Robert
picture.
De
I was
Niro.
like, because I was trying to find like obscure, because it's hard to find pictures to these like 90s martial arts films. But I found this one, like if you kicking over Sasha Mitchell, I'm like, oh, there you go. That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to find. Back then, social network and taking pictures wasn't really on everyone's radar. Today, you have 1,000 pictures. You do a movie, everyone takes pictures. Tuck, 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 back then, you're lucky someone took a picture.
Yes.
You have to take it out of the film itself later on. So it's possible if it comes out on DVD and it's really good quality. But some of these movies are VHS only, you know. 80s. I started in 86. So that's a long time ago.
Absolutely. I mean, so like you're doing, you know, like track and field and then the martial arts. So how do you gravitate towards the film industry? Like, again, was this something like, you know, watching movies growing up and you're like, hey, you know what, I want to do that, or was it just something that happened by happenstance?
I never thought about it because I don't have any idols or anything. I didn't look up to anybody in particular, but I did enjoy seeing Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone,
of course,
in the movies, you know. So I was like glued to them. They were larger than life. They had this charisma, the muscles, the whole thing. And I, like anybody in the world, I thought, wow, these are gods, you know, untouchable gods. And never dare to dream to even get into that world because it's so far away from where I'm from, you know. You don't think about it. You're not that conceited or whatever. You're just like this small. So I never thought about it. It was just like that. I opened up a gym, you know, like that was the closest thing that came to my mind. It's a aerobic gym and bodybuilding, the whole thing. I had the posters on the wall with Arnold, like anybody else, right? Wanted to look just like it. Watched Pumping Iron, that movie, 1,000 times. You know, so they were unreachable for me. And then, matter of fact, there was this one guy, I think you heard of him, Dolph Lundgren. Just kidding now, right?
Just a little bit.
Yeah. So still at that time, Hollywood was as far away as you can even imagine, like the moon or something. And then I had this crush on this girl, and this girl brought in the magazine, and she said, "Look at this guy. He's like my dream. He's like 6'5", and you know how Dolph looks like, right?" And I'm looking at him. I thought, there's another guy. It's like another planet. And I'm like, I never have a shot at that girl because how am I ever going to compete with this? So I actually went to see this movie, Rocky IV. And I thought, oh man, I like it. I like it. And somehow this crazy idea spawned in my mind. You know what? I'm going to go to Hollywood. I'm going to do it. I don't know why. I remember that day I was in the gym looking at myself in the mirror, working out by myself, you know, without a shirt. And I thought, yeah, you know, I was the only one in the gym. And I was like, okay. And I sold my gym like this. And I went, you know.
Oh, wow. So you just kind of threw caution to the wind and was like, I'm just,
yeah, I just went. But as it is, it didn't work out, and I had to come back, and I had to open up another gym. And as soon as I had opened it, it was a big gym, several floors, lots of money involved. I just gave the key to a friend, and I went back to Hollywood with no money this time. I mean, it was just crazy. But I had a hunch. I said, I'm going to do it. I think it was that girl really egging me on, like, you know, kind of weird, you know, thinking,
absolutely.
Wait, the guy is from Germany. He's from Sweden. I'm from Germany. Oh, it's like a competition, like track and field, or like a martial art competition. There was someone that was kind of on my level, you know, which I thought way better looking, whatever, right? But on my level of being from Europe, and like I didn't think of Van Damme yet, but it was Dolph more, you know. So I said, I'm going.
So you said so. Talk about your first acting gig. So I'm browsing the IMDb, your IMDb page as you're talking, and like the first movie credit that comes up is Dragnet with Dan Aykroyd. So was that your first acting gig, or was
it's legitimately extra role?
Right.
Yeah. So that was nothing. There was no acting. This was just being a bodybuilder. Not even a bodybuilder like the real bodybuilders, like someone in shape working out at Muscle Beach, you know.
Gotcha.
So I was an extra. And then from there on, I was like doubling hands of Ken Wall from this movie, something with Beverly Hills, a big movie,
Taking
and
of Beverly Hills. Yeah.
Taking of Beverly Hills.
So you doubled
And
his hands? Did you say you
I
doubled his hand?
doubled his hands, and I thought, wow, I made it. You know, I'm in the movies, even though my hands. And I
It's
was
your
working.
hand. Now,
Yeah,
why his hands? Why his hands? Why
I
was
don't
it
know.
doubling
I
his
have
hand?
no idea.
No
Maybe they
idea.
needed
Okay.
big, you
It's a
know.
paying gig though. You're gonna take it. It's like, yes, I'm
And
gonna
let me
double
tell you, I thought I'm in the movies. You know, I couldn't believe it. You're so naive when you go to Hollywood. I'm in the movies. You know, I'm doubling. It doesn't matter what I do. I will
Right.
do my best job. It's going to get me to the next thing. They never called me back. So,
Well, you never
and
know. I mean, yeah. I mean, it's like that's why
yeah,
you take
because
whatever. Yeah.
yeah, as a, maybe I wasn't supposed to. You know, I don't know. So it's just one thing leads to the next. You know, and you have to do the groundwork. You know, you're going to have to do the steps, whatever it takes to become an actor. You're just not going to get there and become famous or anything. You know, it takes years.
Absolutely. Well, then let's talk about this little movie that popped up.
No,
Oh my God. So like, okay, so we were talking a little bit off camera and like, you know, how this happened for you. So like obviously everybody knows No Retreat, No Surrender, which was Kurt McKinney and then Jean-Claude Van Damme, you know, totally a cheese fest. Like I just watched it the other day and I was just like, oh my God, that's like the worst acting known to man. But yet we love it so much. But now
I know.
Go
People
ahead.
love it.
Yeah.
People love No Retreat, No Surrender.
Yeah.
I don't think Van Damme knew at that point. He couldn't know that people will like it later. You know, at that moment, he wasn't aware of it. He was still struggling. He's trying to get a bigger deal, and he did with Bloodsport, you know.
Right.
And consequently, Kickboxer, which is its own story. I think you should get Michel Kissy on your show. If you want, I can arrange it for you.
Oh, absolutely! I would love to talk to Michel Kissy. Oh my God, such a fan of his too. Yeah,
I'm gonna arrange this because he told me stories that are unbelievable, which made me realize that Jean-Claude, him, and myself, we were walking parallel streets all this time. We have the same adventures, and I actually ended up stepping into his shoes for No Retreat, No Surrender Part 2,
right?
Because he went on to bigger, better things with Bloodsport.
Right, so he was supposed to do the sequel. We all like serious action fans know him and Kurt McKinney were supposed to return for No Retreat, No Surrender 2, but then they dropped out, and then so they were scrambling, you know, and that's where you and Lauren Avedon came into.
They were scrambling, and I think it's best if Michel Kissy tells you the story on Van Damme's side, why Van Damme wasn't doing it, because it's its own little story, you know.
Absolutely.
And
tell
it's
us your story, though, sir. Like tell us your perspective.
I mean, I didn't know Van Damme at that time. I had no idea who he was. It was all like crossing over before he got really famous. So I got a phone call saying there's this actor, Jean-Claude Van Damme, that was supposed to be in this movie, but he wasn't there. Something went down. He's not there. So they had to replace him like overnight, you know, because the crew is already there. And they had to replace Kurt McKinney too, because there's this story. I'm not so sure the truth. You should talk to Kurt McKinney about this as well if you want to. He and Van Damme decided not to do the movie. So they scrambled. They had to get someone. And they called all the martial arts schools and gyms in Hollywood. And they did call a martial arts school on Wilshire Boulevard, where Lauren Avedon is teaching. And he picked up the phone. And basically they were saying, do you know someone? He said, yeah, you have. Basically, I'm on.
You're talking to him. Yeah, exactly.
Talking to him, you know. So he got the job before me. And then they didn't know where to call, and they opened up the phone book back then, you know, and the producer closed, the woman, Maria Cellino, she closed her eyes, and she put her finger down. She says, wherever my finger lands, we're going to call, right?
Oh, no. Oh, my God.
So it lands on Gold's Gym. And then, so they dial the number, and they say, do you know someone from Europe? Could be a martial artist, you know, has to be from Europe. And I just joined Gold's Gym, and the manager is a stunt guy. Also, before he was the manager of Gold's Gym, and he said, you know, I'll help you to get into the movies. And he's like, yeah, I got the guy. He just arrived. He just arrived. So they sent me up there, and I auditioned, had to fight and all that. with Roy Horan, who was unfortunately not with us anymore. He was also a producer, and he took me in the backyard and he says throw kicks and all this, and he wasn't very happy because I couldn't do the splits. But I was big and muscled, so I did get the job, right? And there I was taking this this movie on, not knowing. It was my first film. I couldn't speak English much, and there I was in the jungle. Boom, you know.
Now,
doing this movie.
I had interviewed Lauren Avedon.
Oh, okay, yeah. So you know.
Yeah. So talk about like because again, like I like the first one. Of course, you know, it's iconic in the sense that it's one of Jean-Claude Van Damme's first movies, and it has great fighting in it and everything. But I'm a fan of the second one just because like it ups the action quotient, if you will. Like it's not only just a martial arts movie, but you got the machine guns and the explosions, and it's almost like it's got the Rambo vibe going, you know, like because we all know like Rambo First Blood Part 2, you know, he runs into the Russians. Now you're playing a Russian, which you know, it's like, hey,
well, you know, German, Russian, what's the difference, right?
Really, they're both on that side of the globe. It's like
right. We're neighbors, you know.
So talk about the huge finale with Lauren Avedon. Talk about filming the fight scene, because I love the behind the scenes stuff, and I love to get it from you guys that actually did it.
That was pretty cool because Lauren is such an incredible fighter. He's one of the best. So for me, it was new, all of it, you know, and but Lauren was so good at it. It was just being the bruiser versus the technician. And I'm big, I have muscles, I'm athletic, I can run. I really loved getting beat up by him, you know, and beating him up. And I was so in it, you know. It was hot, it was miserable. It just was right up my alley, you know. I loved it. You know, Corey Yang, the director, he loved us getting real down and dirty, you know. And there's nothing I would have not done. No matter what he said, I would do it, you know. Like, it's pretty common to hurt yourself in these type of films, you know. Cynthia, she came from Hong Kong movies. She was in this film, Cynthia Rothrock. So I mean, she was kind of telling me, you know, go for it, you know. And I did. So did she. I mean, you couldn't even brush your teeth at night, you know. We were really blocking for real, and it's the Hong Kong way, and I loved it, you know. This was back then, films were for real. I mean, they're still for real, in terms, but it was 35 millimeters, so you have to do it over and over. It's hot. It's not as quick as today, you know, because it's film, you know, goes for hours, days, weeks, you know. It was really, really awesome.
So like, yeah, and what I loved about No Retreat, it was seasonal, which was, you know, was a Hong Kong co-production. So like, he had the Hong Kong vibe with it, and it was amazing how, because Lauren Avedon, he's the whitest guy there, you know, but like how he adapted so much to that type of on-screen fighting. It was amazing, because I remember watching it for the first time, and and like part of my French, but I was like, holy shit! I'm like, this guy's like keeping up with these Asian guys and stuff like that, and then here you are. Just a freaking powerhouse, and it's like I love the yin and yang of you two in that fight scene.
That worked out well, because he's like I said, the technician, the Hong Kong style. He adapted really quick to it, and you had to come up with your own style, like the Bruce, you know, the crazy guy, you know. Any hit has to mean something, you know. Wham, you know, like full on. So yeah, this was great. And also, you know, if I think about it now, it was big budget. So
I mean, in terms of a direct-to-video action movie, like when it came to the States, I mean, the budget was pretty substantial because
it was actually a theatrical movie. It ran in the theaters, and I went to the.
You know what? That sucks, because I would have loved to have seen it on the big screen. But no, I didn't catch on to it until, like I said, my cousin got it at his video store. As a new release.
I mean, I saw it on Hollywood Boulevard. Where better?
Kidding.
Yeah, in this big theater. I couldn't believe it. And it was my first movie, and it was right in the theater. And I walked in, nobody knew who I was. I came out. There was a lot of celebrities there. and everybody, oh wow, you're the guy, and I'm like, hey, you know, I didn't know what
I
that
am.
even, yeah. But I mean, that didn't last long because, you know, this film is out a couple of weeks gone. Wasn't like Bloodsport or anything. Even Bloodsport wasn't Bloodsport right away. You know, those things
Right.
take time to simmer, and then there's certain fans. It's not Rocky, but it turned into its own cultural retro. By now, it's literally like a cultish type of scenario. These type of films, you know. They have their own merit, you know what I mean? And back then there were not as mainstream, but slowly becoming mainstream. I think Van Damme opened the door with Bloodsport, quite frankly, you know, to
Oh,
make these
absolutely.
films more mainstream. Yeah.
I always say, like in terms of like rejuvenate, like because we all know, like when Bruce Lee was doing his thing in the early '70s, like the martial arts movie craze was booming. But then, unfortunately, he passed away, and then there was like a lull, and then
Yeah.
Van Damme came out with
Yes.
Bloodsport. And then, because
Yes.
I remember going to see it on opening weekend with my dad and my sister, because I was starting to get in, because I was all into Chuck Norris, and I was
Oh yeah,
like,
yeah, 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 yeah,
you know,
yeah.
but Chuck Norris, you know, as an amazing fighter as he is, you know, it's just the things that Van Damme was doing on the screen. You know,
Right.
you were just like,
And
what in the frick am I looking at right now? But yeah,
and
it
then, you know,
rejuvenated the action franchise. Without Bloodsport, we
yeah,
would not have gotten
no,
the '90s direct-to-video
no, we
VHS
would have
boom.
not.
But yeah, because of Bloodsport.
It was single-handed Van Damme that created this. It's such an amazing. I mean, Kickboxer 2, Karate Tiger, No Retreat, No Surrender. The offshoots of it, you can't even count them. You can't
Nope.
count them. There are like hundreds of offshoots. Then Olivier Grenier, Daniel Bernhardt, Don Wilson, Cynthia Rothrock, Lethal. What's his name? Kempo.
Oh, Jeff
Perfect
Speakman.
Weapon.
Jeff
Jeff
Speakman.
Speakman.
Oh yeah.
Jeff
Oh yeah.
Speakman. um I mean, one after the other came about, you know. It was like the gold rush for martial artists. The martial artists came from everybody that was a world champion suddenly popped up in LA hoping to get a 3-picture deal. And you know, it was up for grabs. I'm telling you right now, you know, if you had a French accent, you had a chance. You actually had a chance at it.
Now let me talk about, because this is another favorite movie of mine, that you're in, and I'm gonna pop it up here on the screen.
Hmm.
Um, give me 2 seconds here. So you're in Cage with Lou
Yeah,
Ferrigno
Cage,
and Red
yeah,
Brown.
with Lou. Yeah. So this was just a fight, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, I
They
mean,
needed a
no, that's fine. But I remember, and
yeah.
again, I was like, because I was getting ready for the interview, and yes, you were only in it for the fight, but it's like
Mhm.
it's still, you got to get in there and tussle with some big names again.
Yeah, it was wonderful, especially Lou. I know Lou. We work out at Goals. I didn't realize how big he is till I was in the ring. um,
Yeah.
he, wa- he was bigger than me, and I was pretty big at that time. But he was like really solid muscle, you know, more than me. Um, so I had to come up again with a different fighting style, you know, the uh, athletic type thing, you know, because he's more like this type, you know.
Yes.
So that was fun. Yeah, that was fun. I liked it. I liked it.
So now we're gonna talk about, like, again, this is probably like one of the biggest films you've done in your career, and I'm just gonna pop this up there. Yep.
Oh, Dark Angel, yeah. I Come in Peace.
I love
I
I
Come in
Come in
Peace.
Peace. That was the title I got when I went to see it at the movie
Right,
theater.
right.
I
Yeah,
Not that Dark Angel isn't a good title, but I Come in Peace is such a better title,
yeah,
because it's like
yeah.
it contradicts itself, because like you say it throughout the whole movie, and it's just
I
like,
know.
why does he say I come in peace, but he's killing all these people? But again, such a great movie. Dolph Lundgren, oh my god. I'm just gonna, as we talk, I'm going to
Yeah.
share the fight scene. So just give me a second here as I
Oh, okay.
bring it
Okay.
up, because again, I remember, again, this is another, again, the 80s and the 90s were such a great time, because we were getting
Yeah.
these movies theatrically, where nowadays we don't. I mean, we just don't. And
Yeah, yeah. I
so
know it.
yeah, so as I loved your character. I mean, like he's an intergalactic drug dealer. So talk about getting the role and then working with Dolph, which you had already known from, you know, you'd seen him in Rocky IV, and you know he was like
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
influential
yeah,
in you doing your thing.
yeah. I mean, I couldn't believe it. I mean, it's just I had an audition, like as it is in Hollywood, and they ask for anybody that's athletic, can do things, had to be very tall, taller than Dolph, really, and that would be like stunt type acting, running, jumping. So I got in because I'm doing track and field, so they knew I could jump and run. Because this whole movie was about running and jumping and escaping explosions, you know.
Right.
So when I walked in, the director said, "Man, right away, he gave me that job. I mean, no one else there had a chance." And he told me to come in the room, in the conference room, and he said, "Now listen to me, and listen to me really careful.
Okay.
This movie was written for Dolph as the Dark Angel, and he doesn't want to do it. He wants to be the cop. And I'm going to give you the role. Basically, it's your movie because it's all about the alien. And I don't understand why Dolph is not doing it, even though I understand he wants to be more of an actor now.
So Dolph,
After Rocky.
they were going to make Dolph the bad guy. They were going to make him your
Yes,
role.
he was supposed to be. It was written that way for him, and that the director said, "This is going to be your break. This is it, because this movie will like break out. Trust me on this." So. But you're going to have to do all your own stunts, and no matter what I say, you're going to have to do it, right? And for me, that was amazing because Dolph was kind of like the catalyst that I went to Hollywood, because, you know, he was this larger than life. He's from Europe. I'm from Europe. And I thought, oh, you know what? I'm going to enter that fight. And there he was. We were doing this movie together, and he's an awesome guy. And bottom line, we the same size and same height. So they had to put me on high shoes to make me even taller than him, you know, which was quite dangerous because I had to do all my stunts with the shoes, and the contact lenses, they're white. So you basically are blind.
Yeah,
and,
so you couldn't really see, could you? Like with those contacts.
No. I do all the scenes before without the contact lens, and then the actual action with it. So you have to kind of memorize your steps, what you do. And you get used to it because you see like shadowish figures or something, but it's precision stunts, you know, running over the cars and all that stuff. You slip, you're done for. But I was in for it. I was like, I don't care if I'm just gonna do it, you know. And it worked out. It was fun. It was my favorite movie.
It's definitely probably the biggest one that you're known for. Absolutely. Like, because like in my circle, like doing the website, and like when I talk to Matthias Hues, they're like, oh, you know, I come in I'm like, yeah, that's the guy. I mean, but you realize that this guy like took on virtually every action. I mean, you're an action star, don't get me wrong, but you took on it's like I make the running joke, but it's totally out of respect that like you were the quintessential, you're the 90s bad guy. Like if they needed a bad guy, they were like, hey, where's Matthias? Let's get Matthias. It's like, I mean, that's how awesome you were. And like, and I get it, you know, you had the look, you know, you had the physique, you know, you had the moves. So it's like, just talk about like, because again, I'm gonna go through some of my other. So after Dark Angel, so the other big one was Kickboxer 2. We kind of talked about a little bit.
Yeah, Kickboxer. Was that before or after Dark Angel? I don't even know. No, after.
Kickboxer 2, it was released after Dark Angel.
Yeah, okay, so it was after.
Yeah.
I remember because I had hardly any hair left because they dyed it white and it all fell out.
Oh,
and I was kind of, and I was kind of worried because this was my look, you know, the long hair and stuff.
How?
And so I was like, yeah, how am I gonna? So I think I had extensions for Kickboxer 2 to get that look back, you know. I think so. Yeah, for sure I did. And that came about because by then I was that guy, you know. That phone call came in, and I thought, oh wow, Kickboxer 2. I'm following Van Damme here. And by then Van Damme was like a legend, right? He was the biggest thing ever. And so for me to be in Kickboxer, I was obviously missing him, but Sasha Mitchell is an awesome guy. So I was like, okay, so we were all very much aware of the legend that we defeat I mean, the shoes we had to fill from all these legends. You know, Sasha knew he would take over for Van Damme. I wasn't taking over for nobody, but I knew that this film was a big thing, you know. And I got to meet Michel Kissi, Tong Po, got to train with him. He's a lethal guy. He's awesome. We just did a movie together. I'll talk about it later.
Yes.
We finished it last year, I think. Yeah, last year. Yeah. So yeah, this was a great honor to be in this movie.
So here's my unpopular opinion. Not that, but I actually like Kickboxer 2 better than the original Kickboxer.
Oh well, it's a very unpopular.
Okay,
very unpopular opinion.
Let me just emphasize it by saying I love Kickboxer with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Sure.
But I loved Kickboxer 2 because, like, and you had an influential moment in the movie because you had a pretty big fight scene with Sasha, and you know that was like that was like a big stepping stone into the rest of the movie. But I loved Sasha's character, and I loved how he was down and out. And like they made him a brother of the other two, and they were killed. I didn't have a problem with them killing off the character because a lot of people had problems with them killing off, you know, Van Damme's character, you know, and of course Dennis's character.
That's understandable.
Yeah,
but I get your point. What I have to say, it was big budget. Again, it was a really legitimate big budget film geared for theatrical release, which it had, but only limited. It was good script. It was a good script. It was a good story. There were good actors. It was really well done. And Kickboxer, at that particular time when they shot Kickboxer, the reason it broke out, it was because Van Damme. It was a very good story, but already Van Damme and his technique and his fighting style made that what it was. Kickboxer 2 was already was shot more quality, more money was in it. There was literally millions upon millions of dollars in that production. So that's the difference, where I think Kickboxer, the first one, was shot for less money. You know what I mean? Less money is less quality in terms of film and development and storyline. It was just Van Damme itself that was just over the top. You know, I understand.
Without Van Damme, Kickboxer would have like just been thrown into obscurity, like without Van Damme. I mean, Michel Kissi too. I mean, Tong Po was such a formidable bad guy in that movie too. The two of them made the movie. Made the movie.
Yeah, and there are such interesting stories behind the scenes of Kickboxer.
Yep,
unbelievable. You got to get Michel Kissi. He can tell you stories. That
I would more than love to talk to Michel. Oh my god, that would be such an honor.
Yeah.
So okay, so like again, Kickboxer 2, not a big role, but I mean, you had it was substantial in the fact that you were on screen for a pretty long time, and I loved your fight. Talk about like, because it showed it a little bit, like when I had it on the screen there, like when they do the close up and the foot's hitting you in the face, like how do they shoot that? Like do they just do it like
they do it,
holds his foot up like here, and then they just shoot it frame by frame? Like how do they get that effect?
No, they hit you in the face.
Yeah. So is it like?
But it was
the fighting, and then like they have one person with the camera
no
in on the foot.
It's actually it was Benny Arquiders, and I'm not remembering quite. I think it was him doing it because he's the most controlled person, and they said
so that's his foot doing it too. So when they zoom up, it's Benny's foot that's kicking.
As far as I remember, it was his because he did it because he was really controlled. And you can trust Benny Arquiders with anything. Yeah. And they just, I remember, said, try to take as much as you can, you know.
He's gonna hit you. So just but like I'm sure you're like, okay, fine. It's like
I mean, it's
kick me in the face. It's like
because it's Benny Arquiders, you can't say no, and he'll beat you up. And he trained us really hard for this. You know, and Jean LaBelle trained us, all these legends, you know.
Another legend.
You don't,
the great.
You don't want to let those people down. You don't want to let those people down.
Nope. Now going into the next one I want to talk about, which again, Black Belt. Now, I love this movie because one, it's a substantial role for you, and you play such a Oh my God, the character of Sweet is such I want to say disgusting in a way. You know, it's like you're like vile, disgusting. You're lethal. You're dangerous, and it was such a great role for you and a substantial role because now you're. This was probably the one movie besides No Retreat, No Surrender 2, because you know you're obviously the main finale and the main villain in that one, but this is the second one where now it's like, okay, now Matthias Hues, now this is where you start becoming like the bad guy of the 90s, at least to me.
Right.
So talk about that. So working with Don Wilson, which is another great guy that I talked to.
Yeah. Don Wilson is just it's Don Wilson. There's only one Don Wilson. He's the real deal. He's a champion so many times around. Very low key, a funny guy, always in a good mood, always tells you a story. So easy to fight with. He's not gonna hurt you. He's just he's not dangerous unless he would be dangerous if you in the ring with him, you know. But there's a few people in this business that really know how to do movie fighting, and that's Don Wilson is one of them.
Absolutely.
So absolutely, it's just sleepwalking through it. You're not going to get hurt. And he was amazing. I didn't know so much about the movie that it would be successful. I didn't think about the character at all. I was just really enjoying being there because, for one, the studio was right next to Gold's Gym. This is my hood. I could always work out there and then go to work.
So it's like like you could just like pop on set, do your thing.
When
it's pop on time, you can get back to the gym.
Yeah, exactly. And Venice is my hood. I lived there. This was like a home run. And Roger Corman had his studio right on the parking lot of Gold's Gym, where basically it wasn't a parking lot. It was the studio, which is gone now. That's now Gold's Gym's parking lot. So for me, this was really amazing. And everybody was so nice. I don't know. I just look at it while we talk about it. Yeah, it was just a good time to work with Don. And I didn't know this movie would have been a good movie, actually, because while you're shooting it, I mean, it was Roger Corman. It was kind of like, I thought, well, hopefully it's not too low budget, but it wasn't. It was really well done. And then I realized that Roger Corman had made movies with the biggest names in the business, you know. So I totally enjoyed it. Thank you. This was fun to make, and it's creepy as hell.
You're basically a serial killer, you know, but like you're a badass serial killer because you're not only a serial killer, but like you're this highly trained, like military trained killing machine that's a mercenary. You're a merc, but you're crazy. It's like
crazy. And
you go after
like literally crazy.
Yeah, you go after the rock star, and you cut off the finger, you know, which was a nice touch, you know, of your victims. I always thought that was a pretty good thing, and I love your fight at the end with him. I'm getting it's just total badass, you know. You guys, it's got slow motion, it's got kicks, it's got everything you love in a martial arts fight. It's got him doing what he can do best. It's got you doing what you could do best, and of course, it's got the slow mo shots with the blood flying out of your mouth.
Right, and the girl in distress, and the girl killing me. That.
Sword,
I love it.
It's like now it's like she comes in and it's like you got the sword. Well, I won't go on anymore, but so like that was one, like, because Roger Corman was like, you know, he was making these movies where like he was getting all these legit like kickboxers and champion fighters and everything. So I always love those movies because the intro, the credits, it was always like so and so PKC World Heavyweight, you know, and it was like, so like working with all those guys, it must have been just like, wow, like this is just awesome. Like a cornucopia of champions to be on set.
Yeah, it was an institution, Roger Corman. It really was, and I was sad to see it go. I couldn't believe it. One day, I drive up there to go to the gym, and I see how the studio is being torn down, and I thought, this is an end of an era that we'd never get back. You know,
absolutely. Now, real quick before we go on to the next one, just like, do you got any like a funny anecdote or good story with Don? You know, filming this, you know, that you can.
No, not really. I was
No,
still
not
so
no, just straight up.
yeah. It was straight. No, because it was straight up. Just you know, I mean, how can I say it? When you're so new, every day is like unbelievable for you. You know, it's like, wow, I'm on a movie, and there's Don Wilson, and there was this other guy. He came to visit. He was like a famous soap opera star. He came just to visit, and I went, oh wow, there's a soap opera star, and I heard De Niro was shooting here. I mean, I knew everybody that had a name, Dennis Hopper, blah blah blah. They all shot movies there at one point, and I thought, I arrived. I'm in Hollywood. You know, this is my graduation. You know, I was so excited. Every day I couldn't believe it. My luck. You know, I'm in this legendary studio. You know, so yeah, I thought I didn't have much time to think. I did break Robert Magnano's nose. I think that was. I feel so bad. He probably to this day doesn't like me. It was an accident. I feel so bad. Maybe I wasn't experienced enough. I think it was a headbutt, and I don't know if his nose was broken, but he was really hurting. You know, I feel so bad.
Right.
That never happened to me again. I never hurt anybody ever. It was in the beginning of my career. You know, so hope he forgives me.
Absolutely. Well,
He probably has. I mean, you know,
like it was so many years ago. I mean, come on, all right. Accidents happen. I mean, it's not like you were intentional. It's like it's
no,
just
it was a total accident.
like listen. If you know you're going to be in a fight movie and you're like going to be fighting in the movie, it's like stuff's going to happen. You know, unfortunately, like you know.
Well,
like,
I got knocked out too. I mean, many
there you
times.
go.
You know,
It's like that's. I think getting knocked out would probably be worse than just getting you know like a.
Yeah, I got legitimately knocked out in the next movie.
So was it this one? Hang on. Was it this one?
Which one is it? No, Mission of Justice. No problem. No problem. That was fun because James Lou
okay, so this is another favorite of mine. You know, I was a big Jeff Wincott fan because you know he was doing this thing with martial law movies and everything. And then you got Brigitte Nielsen in it. You know, as we all know, it was pretty substantial back in the day. And then you're her right hand man, her henchman, your Titus Larkin. So talk about working with Jeff and doing this movie. And I just love your fight at the end. You know, you rip the coat off. And you're like, I'm champion of the world. I'm like,
I'm the champion.
I love it. I love it. Talk about it.
Well, Jeff Wincott is kind of like one of the best martial artists out there in the film industry. He was so easy to work with. He's such a gentleman, nice guy, can kick like Lauren Avedon. He's that good, you know. And he's tough. He has muscles. My favorite scene was just watching him in the gauntlet scene, you know,
that's the best scene ever. Yeah.
Oh, he sticked it with his sticks. And I mean, that took a long time to shoot. I never seen him tired.
And you didn't have to do anything in it. You just stood there next
I
to
hated it. I hated it. If it wouldn't have been for Jeff Wincott, these are the worst things you can do, is just sitting somewhere or standing actually and watch someone fight for like 12 hours a day. I hate it. But just watching him was such a pleasure, and I admired him so much, and I couldn't wait to fight him. You know, after that I thought, that's gonna be good, you know. And this movie was fun because, again, it was big budget. You know, those movies were shot for millions of dollars, you know, with real good equipment, real good scripts, good producers, great actors, great storyline. Bridget was amazing. I mean, we all know her from Rocky and Red Sonja. So for Beverly Hills Cop, for me to work with her was a pleasure, you know. We hit it off really well. And yeah, this was amazing. I loved it. This was a good time, you know. I love Jeff Wincott.
I was such a fan of his. And
me too.
Like I said, like, you know, because like and then back in the day, like because I remember watching his movies with my sister, and my sister was like,
oh yeah.
And she gave him the biggest compliment because she watched a lot of these movies with me, and she's like, and then she's watching it. I forget which Jeff Wincott movie it was, but she's like, this is an action star that can act. I'm like, yes,
he can act.
he's an actor. Like, it's like that,
he's an
because
actor.
she watched a lot of bad ones with me, and like, you know, and then
it's
she
in
was
the
like,
family.
She was like, this guy can actually act and do acting.
Yeah,
like, I like him.
Yeah, you know his brother.
Michael, of course, Michael Wincott. Yes,
so these are really, they're actors, both of them.
And just
Yeah.
to be able to do what he did, and like I said, and again, one of my favorite fights from you is hit the final with him, at the end of this movie. Again, it's like a tornado of moves, with the
Yeah, it
legs
was
and the
fun.
hands and
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, and it was just like big time. And now of course we got this one, which is a favorite of mine, Talons of the Eagle, which is the first.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. I just
again,
watched that the other day.
there you are, the main bad guy, Billy
Yeah.
Blanks, Jalal Murray. I mean, again, just such a good movie. I mean, is it cheesy? Yeah, there's a lot of cheese in it,
Yeah.
and stuff like that, but it's so much fun. And like again, your fight with, I love this right here, the slow motion. That was awesome. Like when you guys
Yeah. Yeah. I
are
know.
running at each other and everything. It's such a great move. And you guys are flexing and like making
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
noises and the looks on your facial expressions. I'm like, and you had some great hair in that movie. Let me tell you. I'm like, you're rocking it in that movie. Let me tell you. So
Oh,
talk
thanks.
about
It was
Talents
so
of the
much
Eagle.
fun.
Yeah, talk about Talents of the Eagle. I love it. I love it.
Well, so for one, we were both peaking physically at that time. I
Yep.
don't know how old we were, maybe early 30s. Athletically, physically, we were at our best at that moment, So this was a face-off. I knew of him. I knew he's the real deal. He's a champion. That was before Taibo, but he's a champion that fought in karate, So I was really looking forward to fight him. And these fights were a little bit dangerous at times, but he obviously is so good, so precise. I knew none of us would get hurt, I just knew it. And we both enjoyed it. This was like, we had enough time back then. We could shoot 12 hours and the next day 12 hours. It didn't matter. We had enough time to put this on camera. We knew this was the finale. It had to be big. It had to be the fight. It was the payoff fight, and it was building up to it through the whole movie. I was really looking forward to it. And Jalal Mary is a very good producer. Kurt is a very good DP. Again, they put money into it. Cheesy, yes, because these films were 90s. It had its style at that time, right? So yeah, I just it was so oriental in a way too, it was very Chinese, with all the characters in the film, the fighting styles. I loved it. For me, that was one of the best times I ever had on a movie set, was this film. Priscilla Barnes was in it.
I love this part right here, where, like you kick all the guys over, like they all have to get behind the pad, just totally knock them all out.
It was so much fun to do this because they were willing to fall down.
Hit us, please. It's like we want to get hit.
Please, yeah.
It's for the art of the movie.
Yeah. They used to it. They didn't care. They used to it.
Right. So let's talk about the finale again. Another iconic fight between you and Billy. And like I said, Billy Blake, like a lot of people, and it's such, not that because he went on to do the Taibo and he became so influential, with the Taibo and everything, but nobody remembers that he was this big time action star, and it's like just your fight at the end with him. Again, we saw a little bit of it when I had it up on the screen. It's just it's again, it's 90s greatness. It's slow motion, it's flexing, it's and everything. So talk about filming the fight with him at the end.
Yeah, it was really fantastic because we were kind of like, I had no idea what we were doing. And this is really awesome because a lot of times when you do these type of films, you rehearse them for at least a week, 3-4 days. This one, I don't remember ever rehearsing. We winged it.
There was no rehearsing. You guys just showed up and was like,
no,
okay.
It's like, I'm going to do this and then you're going to do this. And this was just great because I know what I can do. He knows what he can do. And I'm kind of like, trying to stay out of his way, don't get hit, and vice versa. And it was like a puzzle. I was just like, what are we going to do now? Let's do this. What are we going to do now? Let's do this. By this time, you do this for a living, no matter what. I know what I can do. I know what kicks are good at. He knows what kicks are good at. He has his kids, like kicks that it's his signature kicks and all that. And so we just wing it on the moment. This was like at this time I could wing anything. You tell me, I say, okay, I'll do it. I know what I can do and I know what I can't do. You know what I mean? I'm not Van Damme, but I can do other things. So
no, absolutely.
yeah, so I have muscles, I know how to use them, blah blah blah. You know, I know exactly what I can do, and he knows exactly what I can do. So
that's what I loved. I loved because like back in those days, like in the 90s, like with the VHS action and everything, like you guys like, because nowadays, like, I'm not gonna lie, there is still great action movies being made. Don't get me wrong, but a lot of times they're getting actors that don't know it, and then the stunt doubles have to be put in, and that's where the editing is, and the flashy edits and the jumbo, you know, stuff going on. Back then, it was just like the camera guys were just like, okay, let's just pan back and like let's watch these guys rock and roll.
I mean, I took really, I have to tell you, I took really, and so did Billy. We took pride in appearances.
Yep.
There was no way I would ever show up on a film set not in shape, not having a six-pack, not be tan, not be oiled up. I was literally, that was it. For 37 years, that's what I was doing. I would never, ever not be in shape.
Right.
Always, just like Billy and everybody else. This is what we make. This is what was the real deal. I mean, you can call me every single day. In these last 30 years, I was ready in front of the camera any day. And so is Billy. And so was Van Damme. And so was Golf. You know, this was the real deal. And we would go the distance. I mean, there's no, we go to the distance. I don't care how long it takes, how much it hurts, we'll do it. That was it. And this was for real.
Yep.
I mean, literally, this is for real. These people are for real. Billy Blanks is for real. Dolph Lundgren is for real. Van Damme is for real. Don Wilson, everybody that does it. Olivier Grenier, Daniel Bernhardt. I've been with all of them.
Yes.
They go through hell if I have to.
Yes, and that's like I said again, such a different era. And like I said, I know like probably back then there were like, you know, like some certain like, you know, things taken, you know, I mean, safety was always a #1 issue, but it was like back then you guys were just like, yeah, let's hit each other. It's like, you know, it's like we're not gonna knock each other out, but it's like let's make it look good for the camera.
Yeah, no matter what, and let's look good while we do it. We take this really seriously. I mean, there was no drugs, no partying, no nothing. I mean, you know what I mean? This was for real.
And that's awesome because it was just like, that's what you guys, loved your craft, you loved your art, and you're like, listen, we're not gonna F this up. We're gonna like come in.
It's no effing it up. Yeah, I'll tell you more with the next. What's the next movie you have?
So the next one I'm going to talk about, again, another favorite of mine, and again, I would love to talk to this guy too that starred in it. But Bounty Tracker with the great Lorenzo Lamas.
Oh yeah,
I love this. This is one of my favorite posters, by the way. I actually had this poster because like I would get all the posters too from the video store and everything.
I'd love to have that.
I know you're getting kicked in the background there, but hey, you're the bad guy. That's what happens. But I love how you guys are like looking at each other, like you're you know, it's the big standoff. I just love this picture. So again, this is another favorite of mine. This was made by the same people that did like Jeff Wincott's martial law and martial outlaw movies. And again, you're a mercenary paid to do a job. You know, unfortunately you kill his family. So again, you know, guess what? He's got to go find you and kill you. So again, another great fight scene at the end of this one. So talk about working with Lorenzo and doing this film.
So it was the same people. It's Pierre David, Canadian producer. He's done big movies. He always does movies that are substantially well filmed, lots of money, best people. He hires only the best people. Right. And I remember him calling me in the office saying, there's this guy you should meet. He has really nice hair. Because, you know, I had the long blonde hair, and he says, he's got better hair than you, man.
Oh,
you gotta see. Yeah. He was egging me on already. And Lorenzo Lamas was kind of already famous because he was like the good-looking guy on soaps, and He did some action
Yeah,
movies.
he was like he was soap operas and dramas, but then like when the 90s VHS action started, he became an action star. And because
and I
like he
didn't
put the
know.
work in. He did the martial arts and he
I
looked good
did not
doing it.
know. I thought he's just a pretty boy, but little did I know, the guy, besides being the nicest guy I've ever met, is lethal. Knows how to fight. Is I think he does taekwondo. So it was a pleasure to work with him because he's so nice and laid back, knows his craft, is very like secure with himself, you know. And then the fight scene we have, I mean, obviously we didn't have much time. That one I remember we only had time all night. So that's like 12 hours, which is not too
So
long.
you had legitimately like half a day to shoot that fight scene with him at the end.
Yeah, because I remember it was daylight by the time we finished it. So and then we had to like hurry up and die, you know. You're gonna have to die, Matthias, one way or the other.
It's time to die.
It's daylight, you know, so
The
we
sun's
finished
coming
it.
up, you gotta die.
Yeah, we still be fighting otherwise. But so eventually they killed me because we had to. We just again wing it. I mean, at this point, you tell me what to do. You tell Lorenzo. We have a stunt coordinator. What 3 kicks, so 3 Rio, and then this and that. Boom, we do it. It's such a pleasure because by then, this is what you do. You just do it, you know. So it wasn't much thinking about it. It's one of these films where we weren't thinking much about it. I had films where we were thinking about it a lot. And here's the difference. When you fight someone in a ring, you have to think about it. You really have to make this spectacular because there's no props and nothing to cut away from and to incorporate into the fight. It's just a ring, right? That is very difficult. That you have to coordinate. That one you have to, weeks at end, rehearse in the gym. A fight scene that is on a in a factory, any kind of building, you just say, okay, there's something, you throw that, I throw you over there, you do this, then I take the tool and I whack you over the head, you block it, you kick me, blah blah blah. You can just wing it. I mean, you know what I mean. Just tell me what to do and I'll throw you over there. Can we do it? Yeah, we can do it. Let's get a pad. You willing to do it? Yeah, let's go. Kick you in the chest, take it, go fly. This is how you do it.
Roll the cameras, right? It's like we're
roll
good.
The camera.
Let's go.
Good luck on this. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing. Like you guys have done it so much. It's like it's a part of you. It's just
totally
it's like it's just a matter of we have the moves. It's like what moves are we going to be doing? And once you get the moves down, it's just like all right, just start the cameras. Let's go. We got this. So
it's like it's till today. You tell me, I'll do it. I mean, obviously not the same, right? But it's in you. It's in you. Yeah. Totally.
Right. So again, like I said, like Bounty Tracker, like another such a great movie, and like I said, like you know, you're and like this is like the meat of your movies where you're always playing like mercenaries or hired assassins.
Yeah.
You're a merc, you know. He's like you're doing it for
merc,
the money. Yeah. It's like, are you a bad guy? Well, yeah, but he's he's doing it because he's getting paid. He's getting paid.
Yeah, you know.
It's like I'll kill this person, but
you gotta do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? You know.
That's right. So now this is probably okay. I've said this a lot during the interview, and of course, I have a lot of favorite movies of you, but this one was just full blown. I call it the martial arts extravaganza, and it's TC 2000. Oh my god!
Oh yeah, everybody was a martial artist.
before we talk about it, I just want to tell you this movie, when I saw it the first time, and again I got it from the video store, and I was like, as soon as I got off work, I closed the video store, I drove home, I put it in the VHS machine, and I was like holy cow. I'm like, this is just fighting. It's just like it's science fiction, yes, because you know you got the it's in the future and this and that and the world sucks and everything, but oh my god, it's just so many good fighters, and for God's sakes, you got Bolo Yeung in it. I mean, the great, iconic Bolo Yeung, which you got to take on. How was that? How was taking on Bolo Yeung?
Well, Bolo, I didn't know. You know, he's Asian. He didn't speak much English. He's the guy that fights Bruce Lee. You know, Van Damme, Double Impact. I was very intimidated. I thought, how is it gonna be? You know. But he didn't say anything. So for me, it was even more scary because he wasn't in America. You know, you joke around, you talk, you you know, you get to know each other. He wasn't like it. He wouldn't like sit in the corner with me and talk shop or anything. Nothing.
No,
He just
yeah, right.
he just show up, and I'm like, okay, now that's gonna be interesting. You know, maybe he's gonna kill me, maybe not. We'll see. And he was just so nice, you know. He was like, oh, it's not that bad, huh? He just it's like weird. It's like almost you're doing a movie, but you're in the movie fighting Bolo Yeung, and he does the face he did in with the Bruce Lee, you know. He does the double impact thing. He does all these things he's done so many times. You've seen him on screen doing it, and you think, this is for real, man. This is this guy. And you're like fighting him right now, you know? So then I figured, okay, we're going to have to take our shirt off. So I said to the stunt coordinator, hey, this is not going to go down unless we take our shirt off. You know, I don't care how. I'm going to take my shirt off. He's going to have to take his shirt off because his chest is massive. And we both did.
Like, Matthias, you can't look like how you look and not take your shirt. Listen, I keep my shirt. I'm not horrible by any stretch of the imagination, but I'm not.
Right, I know what you're saying.
If I was like you, I'd be taking my shirt off all the time too. It's like
I was insisting on taking my shirt off.
Totally
every single movie, I said, I'm taking my shirt off. Not anymore, but I was. So
you worked hard for it. You should take your shirt off. It's like
no, not anymore. Eventually, those days are like, you know, I go sleepless maybe. But long story short, this was a good fight. It was fun to do. Easygoing. He was not he. You know, he's a showman. He's like, he has the moves, but he doesn't need to overpower you physically in terms of putting you. Some actors would like to show you how tough they are and how good they are. He was above it. He's an actor. He's come such a long way. He didn't have to prove anything. He was so relaxed that made me really relaxed. We had a good time. So I liked him. We like each other a lot.
English, not like, how did you guys communicate, like during
just
your
like just like with gestures and one word here and there, like respectful, you know, like this, you know. I just liked him. He likes me, I'm sure, because we're not showing off. You know what I mean? We just didn't show off. We were just normal. Like, I don't have anything to prove. He doesn't have anything to prove. What am I going to prove him for? I mean, he's the guy. He's the legend. I'm just starting out, so to speak. So I was just, oh, this is so cool. I'm fighting Bolo Yeung.
You're just so nonchalant about it. You're like, hey, I'm fighting Bolo Yeung. I'm fighting Yeung from Bloodsport. It's like, But again, like when I'm like, this is, and Vinegar Syndrome, the great video company like that's keeping physical media, they put out such a great release of this movie with all the special features, and it was like and I'm such a movie fan that like I enjoy the special features, like the behind the scenes stuff more than the movie itself. Not that I don't love the movie, but like that's why I might.
I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah. I love it too myself. Now, if I can find behind the scenes, I really love watching it. I watch it on all the movies when I can.
And that's why when I get the opportunity to talk to all you guys, I'm just like, I want to pick your brains and be like, because these are so iconic to me, like, you know, for so many years that it's just like, now it's like, I get to hear all these, you know.
Right.
Now, the next one I'm going to talk to you about, not obviously it's not as big as TC 2000, but I mean, it was lower budget, and I'm not going to lie, but it was Deathmatch. They had Martin Kove in it. Martin Kove, such a great actor, and of course Ian Jacklin was the good guy. You know, a little bit of more of a lower budgeted martial arts film. But hey, you got the big cover there, like on the overseas cover, like that. That was pretty.
Cool. By then I was selling movies overseas. I remember. And then the budgets got lower. Deathmatch, Fist of Iron, budgets went down, but I still liked it because they had a story.
I love it.
They had a story, you know, the story was there. And Deathmatch was, I mean, Martin Kove, you know, who Karate Kid, Rambo. He's such a cool guy, you know. And it's so funny. I tell you a really interesting story because so he was the action guy before, right? He was like doing all these action, and now he played the guy that watches, that puts on the tournament. And I thought, oh, that bastard, he's sitting there with all the hot chicks and stuff, you know, and I'm like working my ass off in the ring. I just did a movie called Last Kumite. And
oh, we're going to
it's
talk
a blood,
about it. Yeah, that's why.
yeah.
That's the new one I want to talk to you about. Yeah, we'll save
And
that for later.
basically, I'm playing Martin Cove now.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, again, like, you know, Ian Jacklin, who at the time, obviously he was actually the bad guy in Kickboxer 3 against Sasha Mitchell too. Like, you know, and he
Yeah,
was making some movies at the time, and again, another phenomenal
yeah,
martial arts
yeah.
talent. And I always liked like your fight at the end. Like it was a good fight, but I always thought it was like it was too short. There was probably budgetary
Yeah,
reasons.
because I remember that there wasn't much opportunity to fight because the boat was the boat from Under the Siege. We rented it.
Yeah.
I mean, they rented it. And
Yeah.
I remember we only had a day, and so they had to shoot all these scenes and all these scenes, and there wasn't enough time and not enough space on that boat to fight. So they somehow had to come up with how we're going to get rid of Matthias, right? So let's scorch him, have him explode, and then send him down into the hellhole of the ship. So yeah, it was short because of that. It was literally time and money.
And again, that's what I figured. But again, I was eating all of it up, so it didn't matter to me. Like as long as it was you guys were kicking, you know, and smacking.
Oh, we got to kick each other a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was. I mean, there was a lot of fighting throughout the movie too. I mean, but I always thought that like the finale, like it could have been something bigger and better.
Yeah,
like,
but you have no idea how small the boat was. The boat inside, it was just there was not enough space to throw kicks or anything.
Yes, and watching it, that's exactly what I thought. I was like, you know what, this needed to take place somewhere else. You know, where
it needed to be outside, and there was it was.
Why did they choose to do it on the ship? I don't.
Well, because the boat looks good, but we only had access to certain places. I mean, it's just sometimes people don't know how complicated it is to shoot a movie because time, money, daylight, weather. Illnesses, a lot of things can go wrong, and you're suddenly faced with obstacles that you didn't think of, and you're like, okay, time's money.
Yep. Like, and again, you know, like, of course, and then now the next one, again, actually, it's kind of funny because like all three of the stars of this movie, because now I'm interviewing you. I talked to all you guys now. So we got Fists of Iron with Michael Worth, Marshall Teague, and yourself. Again, another favorite of mine. And I've now officially interviewed every single one of you, which is so cool.
Oh, that's so cool.
I talked to Michael Worth, and we were talking about this movie, and he was talking, and of course, he talked about working with you too. And oh my God, such a great guy, such a humble guy. And again, like I like this movie because, like in Fists of Iron, you're the bad guy, but you're not. It's not like you're like a bad guy. You're a fighter who just happened to kill his friend. It was, I mean, was it, you know, did you go too far? Probably, but it's not like you're like this horrific, like, you know, baby killer or something. It's like you're a professional fighter that just happened to kill his friend, and so he wants.
Yeah, this movie was, it was all about fighting in this self-made tournament, so to speak, casualty of war, so to speak.
Exactly.
So sorry that I killed him. Didn't mean to. Which you had to have, otherwise the fight between him and me would not have any, you know.
Well, they could have put him in a coma. They didn't have to kill him. They could have put him in a coma.
They could have put him in a coma, but what am I gonna do? You know,
exactly. It's like we got to make sure that we resonate how badass you are because you didn't put him in a coma, you killed him. So it's like
I was saying, please let me kill him. Please let me kill him. No, I would have been happy with a coma, but they never gave me the choice. You know, it's like, no, he's gonna die. Okay, he's gonna die. I'm so used to killing people. I mean, just one more. What the hell?
That was a great line. I love it. It's like it wasn't up to me, so it's like they just killed him. It's like, so obviously it's like, but again, and again, you know, this is another example of 90s action where, you know, the guys in the movie, yourself, Michael, even Marshall Teague, and of course it had Sam Jones in it. It had Flash Gordon in it. So
Sam Jones
and
was
Eric
in it.
Lee, you know, it's like it had this
Eric
great
Lee, yes,
and they were funny. I love them, those two.
Yeah.
They were like the comic relief, especially Eric Lee. He was just so funny in the movie.
Eric Lee's really, really funny and wonderful person. And this movie sold really well.
Yes. Like I said again, because like it's legit. Like it's like all you guys in this movie, you're just you're the real deal, and that's why I can't explain to like people nowadays like that didn't go through this period, like, you know, like you guys are like shortchanged in terms of action. I mean, like I said, we're getting good action, but not like it was. It's not like it was in the 80s and the 90s, like with you guys doing this stuff.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like, ah, damn. Now I wish they would have done these films back then with the money from now.
Yes, that's a great line. Thank you very much. You said it.
Just like Roadhouse. You know, Roadhouse, the one they just shot, is 100 million or something, or 80 million. It's a lot, 125 million. Yeah. And I watched behind the scenes, and they did exactly what we do. That's what we done. You know, it's like the rehearsals and everything. That's what I do for a living. It's like I'm watching it and I'm like, okay, how are we getting 125 million? You know what we can do with 125 million?
I know. I've interviewed Scott Adkins so many times, and that's the one thing he always says. It's like, he's like, John, he's like, the one thing is I would love to have 3 weeks to rehearse a fight. He's like, I get like a day. I get like 5 hours to rehearse a fight. Or I would love to have Disney money and like be like, okay, we're gonna shoot this fight like next month. Practice.
I know. I mean, Scott Adkins, if he would have had the money that Keanu Reeves has, you know.
Yes. And the Roadhouse movie, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I'm such a fan of the original Patrick Swayze, and I wanted to like this one. Jake Gyllenhaal is such a great actor.
He really is.
I didn't gravitate towards it. Like, I mean, Jake was great, but the movie around him, I'm like, that's my opinion. I was not.
How was I didn't see it yet. How was our what's his name? Conor
McGregor?
Yeah, how was he?
He's Conor McGregor. He's exactly
he's Conor McGregor.
He's not acting. That's the other thing too. It's like Conor McGregor. Like they put him in the movie. They're like, just be yourself. that's exactly.
Yeah, I know. And you know, I think as much as I like it, it's a mistake.
Yeah, and it's getting a little like it's maligned a little bit because they're talking about the use of CGI in the fights.
Yeah.
It's really noticeable in a lot of parts of the film.
And
I just didn't see what the need for it was, like, because you guys were doing this back in the day. It's like, if you guys were doing it, why can't, you know, it's like, did I miss something? Or, you know, their fight at the end, phenomenal. I love their fight at the end. They had such a great fight.
I saw the rehearsals. I saw them rehearse it, and I'm like, this is what we were doing. 100%.
Yeah,
100%.
But I just got to, and again, I'm spoiled because I came from the age where, you know, you guys, like, there was no CGI, and it was like, you know what, we're just gonna hit each other. It's like, you know, it's like, if we get bruised, we get bruised. I mean, it's like, it's gonna happen, you know. All right, sir. So this has been great, and now I want to get into a facet of your career now with this gentleman, and this gentleman, I'm gonna put up the picture now, Mr. Alexander Nevsky. I cannot tell you what a great man. He has been so supportive of me and my website. I mean, I have been promoting him too. And it first came about with Black Rose, and we were talking about it before the recording. I interviewed you all those years ago. It was an email interview because I got notified by the PR people. They're like, hey, we got Alexander Nevsky. I even got to interview Kristana Loken and yourself. And they're like, you can ask each one of them 5 questions. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, okay. I'm like, and I think I did a pretty good job. I'd have to, they're on my website. I'd have to get them. You know, it was so funny how it's like 5 questions, no more, no less. It's like, okay, thanks.
I guess whoever they hired was just like thinking it's a big A movie or something. You know what I mean? It's like a Tom Cruise. It's like a Tom Cruise move. You got 5 questions and then goodbye. You know, don't look at him when you're at.
I'm like, can I get at least 8 or 9? I mean, come on.
Yeah,
It's like
no,
I
no,
can't.
no,
Like, what
no,
can you get
no.
with 5 questions?
Because
Basically, just
you know why they do this with big A-list guys like Tom Cruise? Because they got like 400 interviews in one day.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's
yeah,
recording like so many interviews in one day.
right,
But
right.
it was an email interview, so like you
Well,
had your time to write out the answers.
yeah, right. Well,
What do
he might have thought I can't write.
exactly. It was still a pretty good interview. Like I said, I'm going to bring it out. I'm actually going to fish it out and put it back
Oh,
because
cool. I
I
love
have
it.
to go back in my archives and put out stuff because I've done
Yeah,
so much. It's like, but
yeah,
talk about Alexander and meeting
yeah.
him. Like, how did you two hook up?
Ah, Alexander.
Here you
I
are
met
with
him at the Arnold's
Hiroyuki
Classic.
Tagawa, another great '90s villain. Two great '90s
Yeah.
villains right there.
Oh,
Just
Gary
like right
Tagawa.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What a great guy.
yeah,
Wonderful, wonderful actor and action star.
yes.
I met Alexander at the Arnold's Classic, and I saw him there. He was visiting. He just arrived from Russia. He was larger than life. You know, I was very impressed with him when he walked up to my booth. He was so big and strong, and Russian. And I said to him, "Man, you should do your own movies. You know, you can be a movie star one day. You know, look at you. You're just like Arnold, but Russian." And
Right.
he ended up doing his own. He's doing his own movies, and he's very successful with it.
Yeah, he's
And
not
he's
just
larger.
acting. He's directing. He's producing.
He's doing
He's doing
everything. He's
everything. Yeah.
producing, directing. He's a multi-talented person, and wonderful guy. Huge. We work out together. We smoke cigars. We have so much fun. Him, Ralph Möller from The Gladiator. Arnold is coming once in a while. So yeah, he's the real deal. We shot a couple of westerns together.
Yes.
Obviously action movies. We shot
Right.
like 4 or 5 films together by now. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, you did Black Rose. You did Showdown in Manila, which I love Showdown in Manila because like that was just
Mhm.
like how like you were of course you were in it, but so many great action. It was like the
I
Expendables
know.
of the direct to
Yeah, it
video
was good.
back in the '90s. Yeah.
All these great names again back in there. Plus Casper Van Dien from Starship Troopers. What a wonderful actor, wonderful
I talked to
guy.
him too. Such a nice guy. Yeah, he's such
Wonderful,
oh my
wonderful
god,
person. One
so
of my
awesome. Yes.
favorite people. Mark Dacascos directing it. One of
Yes.
my also all-time
Oh wait,
favorite
I got that picture here.
actors. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's him. Yeah, that's from Maximum Impact,
Yes, Maximum
directed by
Impact. Yep.
Andrew Bartowski. Who's done a lot of big movies. Um,
Now let's talk about Gunfight at Rio Bravo, which is the first movie taken from Rio
yeah,
Bravo. Comes out this summer, so it's upcoming. Um, now I loved Gunfight at Rio Bravo. The only thing, and you're in the sequel, and of course we can't really talk about the sequels. I haven't seen it, no, but I had one complaint about it, Mr. Hues, and it's because your showdown with Alexander at the end. I wanted you to throw down. I wanted some fists,
yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah, 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 yeah,
It's like
yeah. Me too. Again, okay, this was not Alexander's only call. Obviously, the director, Joe Cornett, wonderful, wonderful director. But I think they wanted to keep it more Western, like in terms of high
I
noon
get it.
shootout.
I get
Yeah,
it.
and if you had that big muscle fist fight, it would have probably taken away from the shootout. They wanted to make this like the classic Western shootout, and they
It was a
did.
good scene. It was a good scene, like where you guys.
Yeah,
It's a standoff between you and him, obviously,
right.
And I like how
Well,
you didn't die because now you're back for the sequel. So you get
like
you're
for the
afforded to side
sequel,
some more. Yeah.
but I'm only in the sequel short
Oh, you
because
are. Oh,
yeah, I was working on another project, so I only had a couple days.
well, that sucks.
Uh, yeah. Well, at least I come back at a crucial time. You'll
Okay.
see. Yeah.
Okay. Good.
But it was a matter of time. Yeah, we didn't have the time.
Gotcha. All right. Well,
So
like I
yeah,
said, love the
yeah.
movie.
Well,
Again, I
mhm,
loved again, I loved how it was like a retro western, but with a
yeah.
a 2020, whatever was made flair to
Hmm.
it. It was
Hmm. Hmm.
updated, but and
Yeah,
you
yeah,
played a
yeah,
good
yeah.
and again, Olivier Gruner was in it,
Oh,
adds to the great
Olivier was
cast.
in it.
Yeah.
Cynthia Roth. No, Cynthia
Sif is
Rothrock
in the next one. Yes, yeah,
is
her
in the
Don,
next one. Yeah,
yeah, Don
yeah,
Wilson in the next one. So it was you, Olivier Gruner were the big draws, and of course Alexander were the big draws in the first one.
absolutely. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
He's doing another Western now.
Yes, the Wide West. Yes, he just sent it to me. Yeah,
Yeah.
and like, can I just say, Alexander? I mean, he always makes sure he sends me like all the news and everything.
Right,
But
right, right.
every holiday, my birthday, I always get emails from him wishing
Yeah, he's
me.
really,
Oh my
really,
god, he's
really.
so awesome. He's just like
He's
he's like, "Hey,
really,
Ron
really.
from LA," you know, it's like, "Happy
Yeah,
birthday." And
yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
"Oh my god,
yeah.
thank
I
you so
love
much."
it.
Yeah.
That's Alexander. He's very special. He's very special that way.
And I see you too on social media, always hanging out and stuff like that. I'm like, I
Yeah,
want to,
yeah.
if I have one dream and it's to make it out to LA and I want to meet all you guys in person
Oh, this would be great.
and
I
just
mean,
say, because I love doing the interviews. Don't get me wrong, but I want to interview you guys like face to face, like, you know, in the
well,
same damn room, like where we're
we
talking.
should arrange this with Alexander to have you come to the cigar room and we do an interview
Ah,
there. It would be fun. I
that
mean,
would.
oh no, we can't have cameras there, but somewhere around there, you know.
I don't.
Yeah.
It could be outside on a sidewalk, you know,
Yeah.
sitting on
Yeah,
one
yeah.
of
No,
those
no, no, no. There's
tables.
other places. There's other
Okay,
places for sure.
gotcha,
Yeah.
absolutely. But yeah, like you guys are just so awesome. Now let's talk a
No,
little bit
thanks.
now before we talk about the Last Kumite, which is the new movie you got coming out.
Mhm.
It's coming out on 4K, Blu-ray, and everything in the summertime. Shirtless in Hollywood, your book, sir. Talk
Yeah.
about this little project and like the
Yeah.
fruition of doing this.
I was just, you know, I love this business so much that I decided I'm just going to write it down because it's so interesting how you get into the movies. You know, it's not like a straight shot, and I wanted to share this with the people because it's quite crazy what you have to do in Hollywood to make it to the top. And we all have our own journey. Alexander, myself, Olivier, you name it, all of us, Daniel
Absolutely.
Bernhardt, and Jean-Claude, Michel Cuissy, and we always tell each other so many stories when we shoot the movies, you know, because we sit together.
Yeah.
And each time I think you should write a movie, you should write you should write the book because all these stories are so cool. And I eventually just did it. You know, I said, I'm going to write down my story and I'm going to motivate all my friends to write their story because it's really interesting to hear their story or my story, how you got into the movies and what happened to you. It's not like sometimes it goes like this and then it goes back down. It's such a roller coaster ride, you know, so many interesting stories. And hence I thought, okay, I want to share this with the world. And I'm actually reading some of it on YouTube. I read the book to the fans now.
Oh, you are? I'm gonna track that down, sir. I'm gonna totally.
Yeah, it's what's the name of it? Matthias Hues Back to the 80s or something like that. So it's on YouTube, and it just started. I'm reading chapter by chapter.
Now I love the name of it, Shirtless in Hollywood, because you had mentioned like always taking your shirt off.
Yeah,
that's the best title you could ever have for your.
I know. I was like, you know, what
do I call it?
What was like? Oh,
what do I call it?
Oh, yeah, never wear. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's how I got there, and that's how it's gonna be. You know, shirtless.
Like again, I read it. I'm actually I'm gonna go track down you reading it. That would be awesome. Like I could sit there as I'm falling asleep at night listening to you read your book.
You definitely will. You definitely fall asleep because it's not.
No. I didn't mean it like that.
But quite frankly, it's really not easy to read a book.
It is not. It is not.
No, I mean, for one, it's written so small, and then how are you going to read it? You know, because there's different ways you can read a book. If you read it like an action movie, it's really difficult to read and act it out. So, but you'll see. Check it out. Matthias Hues Back to the 80s. You'll find it. Yeah, Back to the 80s action movies or whatever I don't even know how I call my own channel, but
it's all right.
I'm not a YouTuber, you know what I mean? I'm just doing this for fun, and it's just sort of an experiment, you know what I mean?
Listen, I have my YouTube channel, and I'm there's so many people doing it way better than me, and plus they have the money to do it. Like I'm on a budget. Like I'm single now. I'm like, you know, I'm going through a divorce, and I got children, so it's not like I can just like spend all this money on a great.
People go all out.
You know, I just do what I can, and people love it.
Exactly.
I mean, they dig it.
Exactly.
So
I mean, if you have a YouTube channel, I know people that have this for a living. that's all you do, and you can never slack off.
No.
It's almost like the Ellen DeGeneres show. You have to every day come up with it's crazy.
It
But
is. It is.
you can make good money, whatnot. But this is a full-time job for people.
Yep.
The people I know, it's a full-time job, and if they go on vacation, they're already screwed.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's about what have you done lately? You know, it's like
Yeah, I
that's why
know. Yeah.
you gotta keep like my little girl, my 8-year-old, she loves to watch the YouTube channel, you know, like she loves the
Yeah.
one with the kids that do their thing and
Sure.
stuff like that,
Sure.
and the
I watch
family.
YouTube myself. I watch
Yeah.
it myself.
I, I'm not gonna lie. Like when she's watching it, sometimes I'm just like, "All right, you got to change it," because I can't stand these people anymore. Some of them
I
are
know.
just like, I just want to
I
be like,
know. I know.
you know.
I know. I know.
All right,
I
sir.
know.
Let's get to this now because like, oh, I'm so excited for it. The Last Kumite. Oh my gosh. Can I just say
Yeah.
like, and I'm gonna like show the trailer a little bit here as we talk about it.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah,
here's
absolutely.
the thing. Like I love independent action cinema because, and I've said this to everybody I interview when I write my articles, independent action cinema is what's keeping the 80s, 90s vibe alive. And
Yeah.
it's not a shot against Hollywood. Again, Hollywood's doing its thing, like with John Wick and all that
Yeah,
good
yeah.
stuff. But they're doing great
Mhm.
things. But it's independent action cinema, and this project, this is like right up my alley. And any action fan that has gone through the era of you and doing all this stuff, where you got the cast, you got Kurt McKinney, you got Cynthia Rothrock, you got
I
Billy
know.
Blanks, you got you. And even Mathis Landwehr, who starred with you in Ultimate Justice with Mark Dacascos,
Oh, that's right. That's right.
who's the
Yeah.
lead. Yeah, he's the lead. He's a phenomenal martial artist. I've seen him in movies.
Ooh,
The
he's
Challenge.
amazing.
Yeah.
I actually suggested him as the lead.
Oh, did you? That was you.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I said you should try Matisse because we were looking for someone to be very, I mean, you have Last Kumite, you need a hell of a fighter, a guy that is physically gifted, has a great body. We were looking and thinking, who the hell could this be? And then I remembered Matthias Landwehr from a television series he had in Germany, which you don't know, but he was so good at it. It was a fighting show, and I thought if someone can fight and act, it's Matthias Landwehr, and he full on delivered. He full on delivered.
Yeah, and then of course there's Michelle Kissy too. I'm
Oh yeah,
sorry
Michelle.
that I
That
totally
was
forgot about him when I was mentioning everybody's name. No disrespect.
no, no, no. He
But
was.
even the poster, like I'm so
Yeah,
excited, and like you were talking, you mentioned it a little bit earlier in the interview. You're the Martin Cove of the movie. You're the guy that's
yeah.
running the show. So talk about, because again, like the guy, everybody that made this movie, such a love letter to the 80s and 90s. You got
Yeah,
Paul
yeah, yeah.
Bertog
Thanks
doing
to the producer Sean Lowe.
yes,
He got it together out of an interview that I had, like I have with you. We had a podcast, YouTube interview, and we were like talking about 80s, 90s movies. He was just a fan like you, and he decided I'm gonna do a project as a homage to my love for the 80s and 90s. And I'm like, oh really? That's not so easy,
no, it's
And
not.
I said, no, it's not. I mean, but I said, I know a lot of people. I can help you put it together. And so he threw it together. I mean, my head's up to him. He got us all there. The best. We had a great director who also shot Undisputed and Kickboxer. The guy Ross is
Ross W.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, his Ross Clarkson, his cinema photography, everything. So yeah, the music, Paul Hertzberg. I mean, we're talking about this is an actual love letters to the 80s and 90s.
And you got Stan Bush singing the song, just like
Stan,
out of
sorry,
Kickboxer.
Stan Bush. Yeah,
And they
Stan
start
Bush. Yeah,
playing his song during the trailer, and it's just like, my God, I'm back in the 90s, or I'm back
you're
in
back
the
in the
80s.
90s.
Yeah.
So I hope. Yeah, I think the movie is awesome. I've seen some of it. I didn't see yet the final cut, so I'm really curious to see because of the music. It's going to make it really feel like, wow, this is a 80, 90 movie. There's some great fights in it. But like I said, I didn't get to fight. I'm the bad guy that puts on the tournament. I'm the Martin Cove of
you
the
don't get
movie.
like, even though you're running it, because there's always that well, in the movies that I used to watch, like even the guy that runs it would get in on the. You don't get in on the action.
A little bit, yeah. Of
Oh,
course, I
Matthias.
don't want to say too much. I do
No,
fight
go.
Billy Blanks in the end, so.
Oh, okay. Well, you've said enough. That's good. And I love how Billy Blanks is the Mr. Miyagi of the movie.
He is a Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah.
But it's not going to be like a Talons of the Eagle rematch.
No. Okay. That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah, because I just got off 2 surgeries and I couldn't do it. I had
Listen,
two knee surgeries. Yeah,
I
so.
had shoulder surgery 3 weeks ago.
So I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so I have not even started physical therapy yet. So
it's horrible, isn't it?
Pain,
yeah,
it's not even funny. This is my therapy. Doing the website and talking to you, this is my therapy.
Oh, okay. Well, I hope you feel better because I know the feeling. It's so slow.
And when you get older, it takes a lot longer to recover. Let me tell you.
Yeah. It's I hate it. I'm getting better now, but you know.
So what did you have to get operated on? What happened?
Just a meniscus.
Oh, okay.
Through fighting, yeah. I tore it so many times, twisting, turning, and now my right leg is kaput. I lost half the size, but I train. I do rehab a lot, so I think I'm gonna get better. I'm getting better and better. But that movie, I was still not there yet.
You weren't there yet.
Okay.
That's understandable.
No.
Listen, I get it. Like, listen, if you can't do it, you can't do it. But at least you're still
in the movie. We still
got your presence, and you're the main man. You're the main bad guy. You're the one that's running the show, which is awesome.
Yeah, I'm so nasty in this. So nasty. I mean, I'm nasty, but I'm taking the nasty crown, the crown of nasty on this one. You'll see it. You're gonna. I have people watching it. They hate me afterwards.
Right. Now, I'm gonna pop it up again. I'm just gonna do a little commentary here, but I love because I'm talking about how you were talking about how it's hard to get that feel and look of the 80s and 90s and everything, but it looks like they did it because when it gets into the action, every cliche is there, and I'm not saying cliche is in a bad way. I'm saying cliche is in a very awesome,
on purpose.
Stupendous way because you got the slow motion, you got the blood flying towards the camera. I mean, it's just it's phenomenal. It's just they really got the spirit and the vibe of what made these movies so great. And this is just a trailer I'm going off of. I've obviously not seen the movie yet.
Man, I can't wait for you to see it.
And Kurt McKinney, I'm not gonna lie. Kurt McKinney doesn't look like he did back in. I mean, he does, but he doesn't. Like if he walked past me on the street, I would not know that was Kurt McKinney.
Yeah, I mean,
on the street.
No
normal. Offense to him, but he looks.
Yeah.
He look. Everybody else, you definitely like you. There's no mistaking you. There's no mistaking Billy Blanks or Cynthia Rothrock. But if he walked past me, I would have been like, "Oh, that was Kurt McKinney. Holy cow! Let me go track him down."
Yeah, the reason being, Kurt McKinney was like a model.
Yes,
like a soap model star, and that's normal. When you get older, you become more manly looking, and he was such a modeling type of guy that mostly models, when they become man, it's a bit different,
right.
Billy Blanks and myself, we weren't models or anything. We always kind of look the way we look, no matter what. You know what I mean?
That's a good point.
Yeah.
And how can we forget David Young? Bolo Yeung's son is in this.
Yeah, I mean, again, he is so strikingly to look at.
There he is, right there.
Nice guy. The clone of his dad, but it's not only a clone of his dad. He's its own person, and so gentleman-like, quiet, and very nice.
You see what I'm saying? Like with the fights, they captured it. They got the I mean, because we all know slow-mo was the name of the game back in the 90s, and with the camera, and stuff like that. And it's just right there, boom. That's the money shot right there. It's like, how can you not?
Yeah. I mean, there's some good stuff in it. And Mike Muller, the fight coordinator, stunt coordinator.
He's phenomenal. Yeah, Mike Muller. Yeah, how can I not forget to mention him as?
I mean, he's. I have many more projects lined up. and always with him on board.
The best
Always
is
with him on
watching
board.
you two fight each other. He's like
Yeah,
3 feet shorter than you are. He's my size, I'm short, but like watching him
yeah.
like go against you, it's the greatest. And
It
he's
was
such
more
a
like a
tornado.
joke, right?
He's like the human special effect. He's so
Unbelievable,
phenomenal.
unbelievable. So I have quite a few projects that he's part of. He's going to do all the action. We have some wonderful scripts. We also have Dark Angel 2. And
Say that again.
we also have Dark Angel 2 in the pipeline now.
Dark Angel 2. You
I
mean
Come
I
in
Come
Peace.
in Peace, Dark Angel?
Yeah, yeah.
What?
The End of Silence. It's with very, very, very big producers at the moment. So fingers crossed.
Please tell me you're not lying to me right now. This is not a
No, I'm not
April
lying. I'm
Fool's
not.
joke. It's not an April Fool's joke, is it?
No, we created a movie and a script that is so outrageous, so 90s, with so much action.
Are you this guy? Like, because I remember you did the previs video for something like that. No.
Yeah, no, yeah, this is completely different. This is out of the box. I mean, I have a director attached to it that just basically he just did the Fast X. I mean, we're talking about the biggest people in the business looking at it right now.
Absolutely.
To do it as a homage to the 80s, 90s action. I mean, full on. The script is so full of action. You're going to be exhausted by the time. And Dolph is obviously the lead.
You brought Dolph Lundgren back for Dark Angel 2.
Yeah, of course. It's all built on it's just
I was actually going to ask you before you just said that. I was like, is Dolph Lundgren? I can't even begin to describe how happy you just made me feel.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a done deal. We're talking to very big producers. There's still a matter of securing the rights and all kinds of things. We haven't talked to Dolph yet because I'm gonna wait till the producers. Oh, he will do it. Trust me. He read that script, he will do it. We created a role for him. It's a dream role for him. He is the coolest guy on the planet. He's still around. He's still Kane.
Still
but
kicking
now
ass. Yep.
He has a different angle in the entire movie. He's a year off his pension, and he's going to prove to the world that there are these aliens. And he's right. There's an army of us. And I mean,
there's an army of you now.
Oh yeah. And I'm literally dead or very badly damaged, so to speak, but there's a comeback, and it's going to be hilarious. It's action non-stop.
Wow. Well, that just made my day. I'm like, that's you. When you mention that, it's like one of those movies you wish it could have came out yesterday. It's like, because
I know. I mean, look, I've been fighting for this for years, and I finally got.
I remember you did the video. It was like a previs, like kind of like a behind, like where you and Mike were like doing your thing.
Yeah, we were just screwing around, thinking about stuff because we like fighting and all that. But then we solidified it with a script and got really big people interested now.
That is awesome. Is there anything else that you can mention, like in terms of future projects, or is it all hush hush?
Then we have a bunch of films. There's
obviously you got taken from Rio Bravo that you're in a little bit. That's coming out in July.
Last Kumite.
The Last Kumite comes out in June. Yep.
Yeah, I mean we gearing up. So Dark Angel is our thing now. This is what we concentrate on. I Come in Peace. We want to do this. We want to do it this year.
Oh yes.
And
I want you to do it this year.
Yeah, me too. But this is all I think about, and let's hope this happens. And from there on, I have other movies with the same director, same stunt people. These people are amazing. They know that they're the best in the business. So we're going to deliver action nonstop all the time. But then again, this has to happen now. And the producer we have is currently doing one of the biggest movies in Hollywood as we speak. I can't mention his name, so he's very, very busy. So as soon as he's done with that one, he's going to look at us again, so.
Well, listen, any help you need from me, or like I will be your voice of reason for
oh, thank you. I mean, as soon we're inching towards the green light, I'll let you know. I tell you, this is my lifelong dream to do this movie. And I love Dolph. I think he's awesome.
I interviewed him too. It was one of those real fast one though. Like the PR people gave me like 10 minutes, but it was still 10 minutes.
Okay.
Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah.
I still got to talk to him. It was still it was
Yeah,
like it was like one of those pinch me moments where I was like, I'm talking.
Yeah, well, yeah. He's a cool guy, and I love to have him play himself again. Even I love his role so much. We put so much love into his role because he's
and you
such
can have
cool
so much fun with it now that he's older. Like you said, he's a year out of his pension.
Oh, he's so cool.
Yeah,
Listen,
he could totally like make fun of himself at the same time. I would love it. It would be so awesome.
And I have a really good cameo. One of the main roles for Arnold.
Seriously?
Oh Arnold? Yeah, I'm talking about
Wow, this is ambitious, sir. You heard
it
here.
Yeah, it's ambitious, like, but listen, we're talking to big producers here. We're talking to the producers in town who are actually working with Arnold. So we're talking about this is the real deal. If we get this done, we do it right, or we can't do it.
Well, here's the thing. Can I just say this?
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing that irks me about Hollywood, like big time Hollywood, like big studio Hollywood, is, and this is coming from somebody who buys the tickets and buys the movies and, like supports like everybody doing this. I feel that like the big suits, like in the big studios, do not get what us action fans want.
It's never been like this. Yeah, I know.
Independent action cinema, you guys, like the independent action guys, they get it. They're like, we got you. We know what. Don't worry about it. No worries. We know exactly what you want. But it's like and I'm not saying Hollywood doesn't. Like I said, Hollywood's been doing some good action. Like you got the Fall Guy coming out, looks great. You got John Wick, all that stuff, and the spinoffs and stuff like that. David Leitch and Chad Stahelski are doing phenomenal things. But it's just,
I know.
For the most part, the studio execs don't, like, when you say this, like, it should be an automatic home run. Hey, Dolph Lundgren, I got a cameo for Arnold. It's like they should just be like, okay, how much money? Here, I'll write you a check. But it just seems like Hollywood, like, because a lot of times on our podcast, we talk to each other about what we want to see, and we just don't understand why studios can't see this. So
I'm so happy you say this. Listen, I've been so here's the thing. Gotcha. I'm in the community just like you, right?
Yeah, I got your back. Yep, I got your stuff.
Yeah. So I work with people like Nick, our director, Nick McKinless, sorry. He's from England, right? Yep. He just second unit directed all the action of Fast X. He is a friend of mine since many years. He's been in everything and anything. He is just like me, a muscled action guy who can do anything. So he's been in the business for a long time. And now he just directed Scott Adkins, by the way.
Okay.
So
Take Cover. Yep.
Take Cover.
Yep.
No, is it Take Cover?
Nick McKinless? Is it? Yeah, Nick McKinless.
Yeah. Is the name Taking Cover? Okay.
Yeah, it's called Take Cover.
I apologize.
Yep.
Yeah, I know it's his last movie with Scott Adkins.
Yep.
So anyway, he has an eye for it. He's the real deal. He knows how to fight himself. He's done so much action. Mike Miller, he is connected also with all these people that come from the ground up, grinding their way through Hollywood and through all these movies, and now are ripe and ready to do these films. And these people are very respected by the big producers now. And we have a producer, I wish I could say his name, who is a fan of Dark Angel.
I get it.
He's a fan of Dark Angel. So we were always saying the big studio people, they will never look at us. It has to be someone that is big now, that used to be a fan of that genre, and who is big now, who does big A movies now. And I said, I'm going to wait till one day this one guy comes and he's saying, oh my God, I saw this when I was 18 years old, and now I'm doing big A-list movies, right?
Yeah.
And this is the one that we are talking to. So who's doing a movie now with really big people, Chris Pratt and Arnold Schwarzenegger? I mean, we're talking about this guy. So he liked it right away. So this is someone we need. We need someone like you, someone like him that understands this business. If I go to the film studio right now, Paramount or Amazon, they're not even going to take my call.
And it's
but when that film is out later,
it's such a shame. It's
such a shame. It's like, what do you guys know? I wish I could work there, but it's like we really know, because I talk to you. I walk around the world every day. I go to the conventions, whatever, right? Everybody's like, oh man, Where's the sequel? Where's
I
this?
come
Where's
in
that?
peace.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh,
It's like,
come in peace. Yeah.
yeah.
And it's so obvious to me, and the people that I work with, they see it too. So they all say, what the hell is going on? That's why they jump on board. They say, why is this nobody doing this? We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Because we are like your generation. We grew up doing this shit ourselves. You know, we're going to do this. Yeah. And so you have to walk the talk. You know, I mean, these people that I work with, like Mike Muller, all these people, Nick, they know what they're doing. This producer knows what he's doing. Everyone is connected. Once one guy says yes, everybody says yes. That's how it goes. And even Arnold Arnold will also we have a role for Arnold that is so amazing cool. Only Arnold can play it. You know, we really created this that you have no choice but to say yes. It's so cool. Dolph,
you can't say no. That's right. You
no,
have
because
to say yes, Arnold.
this is in 80s, 90s movies with cigar, with the whole thing. It's like, why would you say no? You know, you're the biggest stars in the. Dolph is one of the biggest icons in the action world. He's done everything.
Big time.
You know? Yep. Yeah. So it's like one big family. Don't say no. Do it.
Don't say no. And that brings up real quick. That brings up the other current trend of like stunt directors turning into filmmakers. Like, you know, you got Jesse V. Johnson. You know, you got Sam Hargrave, who did the Extraction movies. These guys that have cut their teeth in the stunt industry are now making movies, and I think they're our last line of defense, like A-list wise, to get these types of movies made. Yeah,
because they were there. These were the guys that were being. Chad was in Mission of Justice.
Yes, he fought Daniel Bernhardt in Bloodsport too. I remember just watching it the other day.
What the hell, right?
Like, it feels like it was just yesterday. You know, and here
he is. Of course, Chad knows what the hell he's doing.
Yeah,
he grew up in this business. He got his ass kicked in this business. He worked. He was a stuntman for Keanu Reeves, as far as I know. Yeah. So they, you know, that. And they deserve it. He deserves it. Everyone that stays with it for all these years and has passion for it, like you said, you know, those directors, those stunt guys, they're directing the big stuff now.
Yes, and that's and that's what it's going to take to bring this into like big Hollywood. Like, you know, and like I said, it's got it's and I just wish I could get in a room with the studio execs and be like, listen, I am the guy that pays your salary. I'm the guy that buys the ticket. I'm the guy that buys the movie when it comes out on Blu-ray. I'm the guy that buys it when it comes out on streaming. Listen to me. Listen to this guy standing next to me. Listen to this girl standing next to me. We have ideas, and this is what needs to happen in terms of action.
Yeah. Listen, it was always the grassroots people. When I walk around the world, it was the guys that do the valet. It was the guys that work in the restaurant. It was the guys that live in Mexico and coming over the border. It was the Russians. It was those people, the Africans, the this and that. People you don't know. They say, we grew up with this stuff. We love this. You know what I mean? I know. There are certain films like Die Hard, Predator, Terminator, Conan. Yes. I mean, the list is endless. Cobra. Kickboxer, all this what we talked about today, Charles Bronson, all these characters, you know, this shaped us. This made us who we are. I sat in the movie theater since I'm a young boy, dreaming. I mean, looking at these people, I'm like, I love it so much, you know. Yeah, I mean, I don't remember looking at lately. I'm not sitting in the cinema and oh my God, this is so cool. I haven't had any of these experiences anymore. You know, I mean, what's the last movie? I have to say, I like the Creed. You know, Creed.
Creed, yeah, the Creed movies.
Yeah. But do I still admire someone like I did Sylvester Stallone? No.
No, yeah.
No, I still love Stallone and Mel Gibson and Arnold and this and that, but there's not that many people. I mean, for a moment, I was like, oh, okay, there's Jason Statham. At least he's a tough guy, you know? So The Rock, well,
Jason Statham's probably one of the biggest A-lister action guy out there. That like, and actually, like, if you gave him a call, like, if he would take your call, he would probably be like, "I'm game. Let's do this." You know, he's that kind of guy.
Who knows? I mean, I don't know. You never know. I've met the biggest people in the business.
Yeah.
Wesley Snipes. Countless people, and if there are fans, I don't care who it is. 10 times, million times more famous than me, they get up and they walk across the room and they say, "Hey, how you doing?" You know, I had people come up to me, I couldn't believe it. And then I met other major movie stars that wouldn't even look at me because they don't give a shit. And then it's these people, you're like, "Oh my God, you know this," like Forrest Whitaker, for instance, right? So I am in the Peninsula Hotel in the restroom and I see Forrest Whitaker and I'm like, "Oh my God, I love your movies, Forrest," you know? And he's like, "Forget about me. I love your movies," you know? And I'm like, "But you're Forrest Whitaker." He said, No. I like all the martial art movies because he's a
Forrest
martial
Whitaker
artist.
was in Bloodsport. You got to remember that. He did Bloodsport.
Exactly. So listen, I just created a movie with Forrest Whitaker and myself. He doesn't know yet, but also Nick directing it. It's kind of like The Professional. So and he would hopefully he takes the role. But long story short, you know, we thinking about people like that are also fans of the 80s and 90s, and that's what we create these scripts for. We have also something for Wesley Snipes, you know, because we want to get these people into our group because they know us. They worked the grind like we did, and they ended up getting Oscars and whatnot, and they are still faithful to their business. So there is a group of people that gets us, and then there's the other group that doesn't get us. They're like, they don't care. It's like, who the hell are you? I mean,
I know.
You and your muscles. Let me tell you, I work out in a gym in Brentwood, where the biggest A-listers in the world work out. Right? It's a private gym. Oh man, I'm telling you, a lot of these people, they don't even look at me. They don't care because they don't care about this type of thing. We're talking
it's
like
true. Not everybody. Yeah, not everybody.
No, they don't. And then there's some other people that are really into it. It's the ground. Me too. And I gotta tell you, there's a lot of people that is into action movies.
And listen, I don't know if it's because what has happened to me, like in the last months, like I said, like personal wise and my shoulder and everything. But I've been getting really turning 50 a couple years back. I've just been getting really nostalgic for like the time, because watching these movies, it just like takes me away, like to where life was simpler. It was a different time. It was a different era, and it was just a different way of doing things. And that's what it reminds me of when I watch these movies.
It is
like I just put on your movie. I just watched which movie did I watch? TC 2000. Yeah, I watched TC 2000 last night just because I knew I was going to be talking to you. I'm like, I got to watch one Matthias Hues movie. So I mean, don't get me wrong. I watch your movies like all the time, but I'm like, which one should I watch the night before I interview the man? And I just chose TC 2000, like, because it's just a battle fest throughout the whole movie. And you guys,
it was one of my favorite movies to do because I like Jalal Mary as a producer and as a human being. And secondary, the memories I had on this set. Oh my God, Harry Mark, was not with us
the
anymore.
late great. Yeah, we forget it. Yeah, that's another one we lost. It's
another one.
And that's the other thing that sucks, is time catches up to everybody. Like, that's the other thing that sucks too.
It's like, unbelievable. And you know what pisses me off? It's like, yeah, I'm telling you, I'm still so hot for this action type of thing, you know. And it's like, hey guys, you gotta hurry up before I'm 70.
You're right.
You know,
it's like
what the hell? You know,
time is knocking
I still
want
to kick some ass. Yeah, I still want to. Hey, I still go to the gym every day and work out because I'm like, okay, let's do this. Come on, we love what we do. Let's do it. We're doing it, so it's not like we don't do it. You know, you want to do it as long as you can. And
stop talking, start doing. That's what
start doing. Happen. And I really enjoyed Last Kumite because this time I was the Martin Cove character. I say Martin Kove character not in a negative way. I say that in a
No,
positive way. Yeah,
he's the one running the
because
show. He's the
exactly
main bad guy. Even though you're not going to be doing the fighting, you're the
right.
evilness of the movie. You're
Yeah,
the one
and I
bringing it
mean,
all
I have to say, you watch that movie, uh, you're going to see these fights, and I enjoyed these fights. I was like, oh my god, I really enjoy watching these young upcoming fighters fighting. This
in.
was a lot of raw talent. You know, we have this girl Munya from France. She's one
Yep.
of the best stunt fighters in the world. You're going to see how she fights. Wow,
Yep.
it's just so awesome to look at everybody.
Like
Yeah,
I'm excited. I'm pumped up. Like I'm like, and like I said, I
yeah.
don't know, like if because like everything that's happened to me and everything, but I've been bit by the nostalgic bug, and like
Yeah,
if
me
you
too.
read my
Yeah.
website, like I mention it all the time, where I'm just like, you
No,
know what,
I know your website. I love your website. You're
oh
kidding me?
thank
I
you,
mean, I
thank
look
you,
at it all the time,
oh thank
and
you. See,
I
and
want to
that's
personally thank you. You're always so nice to us. You know, I mean, seriously.
it's not fake. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys are you guys have made me. You guys shaped pretty much who I am. Like I said, like Jeff Speakman, like he's the one that made me actually physically go into a martial arts studio
Oh,
and
yeah. I can
and
see that.
like Chuck
Why?
Norris, like was my introduction to the martial arts. Like Lone Wolf McQuade
Yeah.
was like probably the first movie I saw of his when I was a little kid. But I always wanted to take karate, but it wasn't until I saw The Perfect Weapon. The next day, I walked into a martial arts school, which was a Kempo school, and the rest was history. I ended up teaching it, running the school, and
Are you
for
serious?
many
Wow.
years. Yeah, so I owe
Wow.
everything
Wow.
to you guys. Like
Wow.
you guys are my
Oh,
life. I mean, like, and that's
oh,
why I'm so
thank you.
passionate about it. And like,
Well, it
what?
works both ways. We owe each other now, you
Yeah,
know?
yep.
And by the way, Kempo, I've done it for a little bit. I was curious about it. What a wonderful thing to do, right? Kempo.
Oh,
I mean, thanks to Jeff Speakman. Jeff Speakman is amazing.
he's a pioneer.
His
Yep.
movie was amazing. He
Hmm.
has many schools, you know.
Yep.
He's an amazing guy. He's so gentle. He's so laid back, but he knows his stuff. I can totally get it why you went into Kempo. I totally get it.
Yeah,
He
like I said, I loved
inspired
all.
me.
Yeah, I just saw The Perfect Weapon. I'm like, I want to do what that guy's doing, and
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
what I did.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
And
The Perfect Weapon was the perfect movie. I mean, it came out at the perfect time.
there you go.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Perfect, perfect,
You
perfect.
know? Yeah, yeah.
Wow,
All
Matthias,
right.
I cannot thank you enough. This has been,
You're so welcome,
oh my God, such
John.
a great interview. I mean, to give me so much time and to get into the meat of all this and like and to be so passionate and to talk about all these great movies and future movies.
Yeah,
Dark Angel 2. Let's get it on.
let's get it
As
on.
my
Yeah,
friend, that fat samurai guy who runs his, let's start the ruckus. I mean,
right.
let's get this going.
John,
Um,
I definitely keep you updated on this step by step. Yeah. So, and I'll give you exclusive on everything, you know.
that would be
If,
awesome. Thank you so
yeah.
much. Yeah,
Oh, absolutely. So Fever with us. It's so hard to be patient because we're in a waiting line of other things to go through, and then it's our turn. You know, it's like at the car wash. You're at the last car, and everybody gets this car washed, and you have to wait. But
yes, I get it.
hey, eventually your car gets washed also. So you know.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I
All
cannot
right.
wait for everybody to see this interview, and thank you so
Thank you.
much. I can't wait
Thank
to
you,
talk to
John.
you in the future because I know I definitely want to talk to you way more in the future
We're
about all
gonna
these
do it.
concepts and to give me the
Absolutely.
exclusives, please. That would be so awesome. I mean, I
Oh
can't
yeah.
tell you how warm that makes my heart feel right now.
Oh,
So
good,
thank
good,
you
good,
so much.
good. Wonderful.
All right.
And if you say hi to Alexander, if you talk to him before me, and listen.
I emailed him yesterday.
Oh, good.
He's gonna be on the podcast for when Taken from Rio Bravo comes out. So sometime in June, I'm gonna be talking
Perfect.
to him.
Perfect. Okay, John.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Thank
Thank
you
you.
and have a great day.
You too. Okay. Bye
Okay,
bye.
thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye. Well, there you go. That was Matthias Hues on the ACTION-FLIX podcast. Such a great guy, such a great individual, action star, filmmaker. Oh my God. Such great things coming in the future. And like I said, you're going to see it here on actionflix.com. We are your destination for everything action. We are your destination for your action fix. Until next time, be kind to one another, treat others as you would want to be treated. And above all, fight to get these movies made. Fight to get the action movies we want to see as action fans get made, because that's what it's all about. All right. Until next time, everybody, have a great afternoon, and I will talk to you next time. So until then, make sure you check out my website at actionflix.com and for all your action movie needs, and just, you know, support independent action cinema, support all action, regardless if it's independent, regardless of if, you know, it comes from the big budget studios. It's all good as long as it's done well and it's done the way we want it. That's what it's all about. All right, until next time, everybody, this is John with actionflix.com saying we are your ultimate destination for your action fix. So until next time, have a great day, everybody. See y'all later.